Whoa. Whoa. Hey folks, my name is Jen, and today I am here to do another book haul. So similar, so like my previous book haul in which I went over everything that I received for Christmas or my birthday, this one is similar in the fact that majority of the books that I'm going to talk about are things that I purchased with money that I received for Christmas, but I just didn't go out to the store at that point because I was waiting to go with one of my friends. So we have gone on our little book shopping excursion. So I have a stack that I'm going to talk about right here in front of me that are books that I purchased at Barnes & Noble with my friend yesterday. And then you will probably see a change in whatever I am wearing. Maybe I'll even put on makeup at that point, and it will be a couple more books, and those are books that I ended up purchasing online, and I'll go into that when they get here and I can talk about that. So let's just talk about the books that I ended up getting yesterday. So to start off with, I bought a couple of middle grade books, so let's go into those first. So the first book that I grabbed is one that I decided I wanted to get since I finished one of her other books last month, and that was The House with the Chicken Legs. This is by Sophie Anderson. This is all about 12-year-old Marinka. I believe that's how you pronounce her name, Marinka. All she wants is a friend. Of course, the house in which she lives, the House of the Chicken Legs, is her friend, but she actually wants a human friend, somebody else that she can play hide and seek in different games with. And she just doesn't have that. It's kind of hard to have that when your grandmother is the Baba Yaga and you basically travel around with her. But when Marinka makes a choice to secure a friend, it accidentally screws things up and she has to go on a journey to try to find her grandmother since her grandmother disappears. I am really excited to read this because I really loved The Girl Who Speaks Bear when I read it in December, and I desperately wanted to find more of Sophie Anderson's books, so I ended up grabbing this. The other middle grade book I grabbed was Amari and the Night Brothers, and this is by B.B. Alston. This is about Amari. So her older brother went missing a while ago, and the police believe that he is dead, but she doesn't listen. She knows he is not in fact dead and he needs to be found, and she's just putting up with a lot of the police telling her family that her brother is gone forever, and bullies at her snooty school also treating her like crap too. But one day she finds a briefcase in her brother's room that is ticking, and it apparently contains a nomination for the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs. There's a nomination for their summer tryout program. So she decides to immerse herself in this and try to figure out what happened to her brother and where he could have possibly have gone, and in doing so she's put into this competition with all these magical kids who've known about magic their whole lives, and she's just now learning about this now at however old she is. I'm not sure how old she is, but yeah, this sounds super cool. Kind of having it on my tentative get list since I think I heard about it last year. But when I was over in the middle grade section grabbing this, I was like, screw it, I'm gonna grab it now. So I'm very excited. Like, this is beautiful and it sounds really cool. I mean, it has like that kind of magical competition school setting that I really love, so awesome. Then for like YA, I ended up grabbing With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I have read some of her other books, like her verse books, and really enjoy them, but this is actually in prose. So this is all about Amari. She actually has a 2-year-old daughter. She's still in high school, so she's kind of dealing with being like a good teen parent, while at the same time not like overwhelming her grandmother who raised her and is now helping her raise her daughter, but at the same time like trying to achieve her dreams. She wants to be a chef. She loves cooking, but she knows that she knows that it might not be worth it to try to take risks to try to become a chef, but at the same time, the kitchen is like the one place where she can like let go and like be herself and let her talent shine. So it's her struggle between like, should she just be responsible and not take that chance, even though this is like something she's very like really wants. It sounds like it's gonna be a really good book. I've heard very good things about it, and I love her writing otherwise, so yeah, I'm pretty excited to read this. Then we've got some adult books. So first of all, I ended up grabbing Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. This is a book of his that has been on my to-get list for a long time now, so I was glad to pick up a copy. So this involves a secret world that is underground London. Like, it's in the London Underground, but it's like another London under London, basically. It basically says that this is a city of monsters and saints, murderers and angels. A city of the people who've fallen between the cracks. A single act of kindness to a ragged girl he finds injured on the street catapults young businessman Richard Mayhew out of his workaday life into a world that is both familiar and threateningly bizarre. So I really love Gaiman's writing. I will say there's a couple of books that are kind of iffy for me, and then a couple of his other books that are just like absolutely amazing. So I'm hoping this is more a hit than a miss of his, but it sounds super cool, and I have heard like people, including like a couple of friends, just exclaiming how fantastic this is. So I am really excited to give it a try. I think it'll be really cool, and it's got a map, guys, so that's cool. If you remember, I released a video last month, I believe. I don't think it was in December, I think it was last month, about my most anticipated reads for January and February. And I looked all over Barnes and Noble, and I only found 2, I think, of the books that I was, anticipating. I only found 2 of them. And one of them, because I did some calculations, I ended up not grabbing it right now, but I'm hoping to get it in a couple of months. But the one I did end up grabbing is The Maid by Nita Prose. So this is one that I talked about in the video, but this is about Molly. Molly has always kind of struggled figuring out normal social constructs, basically, and she's always had her grandmother to kind of help her get through that and give her these rules of a life that she's supposed to live by. But unfortunately her grandmother died a while back, so she's kind of on her own figuring things out. But she is really good at her job as a maid at, I think it's the Grand Regency Hotel. Regency Grand Hotel. I switched the words around. But so she's really good at her job, and things are pretty okay until one day she ends up walking into a suite to clean it and finding a dead body of a pretty, like, infamous guy. And now she has been pulled into the investigation because the police find her, like, behavior to be odd, and her world has basically been turned completely upside down. I heard it compared to, like, Clue in some ways, and so that's pretty cool, and yeah, I'm very excited about this. I think this will be a pretty good read as well, and I'm just excited to have, like, another mystery on my shelf, to be honest. And then I have a couple more that are technically, like, non-fiction. So the first one I grabbed was Will by Will Smith, and I think he had a co-author. Yeah, with Mark Manson. So this is Will Smith's, like, autobiography, basically. And so I don't think I've ever talked about Will Smith on my channel before, but I just love him. Like, I listen to his music on Spotify, especially, like, his older stuff when he was with, like, Jazzy Jeff. I listened to that a lot. Me and one of my cousins, like, loved Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like, we'd watch the reruns of that a lot, and my cousin also, like, loves his acting and him as a person. He's, like, so cool, and we just, yeah, so I've been, like, a fan of his since I was, like, yay high, because, I mean, I love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and then I was obsessed with Men in Black when I was younger and stuff like that, and I don't know, I think he's a pretty cool dude, and I love his music and his acting, and he is hilarious, and yeah, so, when I heard that he had written a book, I was like, that's pretty awesome. So, I debated because this was a little more, this was like $30, and I was like, oh, should I spend $30 on a book? But, I mean, it's his, like, autobiography. I had to, so, yeah, rather than waiting, I was like, no, we're gonna grab this now. So, I'm really excited to read this. I think this is gonna be super, like, interesting, learn more about, like, his journey and everything, more about his life and stuff, and there's, like, lots of, like, there's, like, two sections of, like, photos in here, and I don't know, I'm just really excited. I'm very excited to read this. I think it's gonna be really, interesting and fun, and also just look how beautiful this is. Like, I know I'm not someone that just talks about how stunning, like, book covers are that much, but I'm just really blown away by this because it's just so colorful and freaking beautiful. I love it. It's so great. And then the last book I grabbed up on this Barnes & Noble trip was something that I saw back in December when I was, like, buying things for people for Christmas, and I wanted it then, but I was being responsible-ish. So, but I saw it and I freaked out because I was glad it was still there, and that is Back to the Future, the official Hill Valley cookbook. So if you've been here a while, you've probably heard me talk about Back to the Future and how it's, like, my favorite movie or movie trilogy of all time, pretty much. So, yeah, this, you know that I have to have this. So there's, like, really cool pictures throughout here. There's, like, just funny stuff in here that's, like, you know, very related to the movie, like jokes if you're, like, a fan of the movie, and it's separated into sections. So they have 1985 section, which has, like, stuff that's basically just, like, a lot of the things are just inspired or, like, plays on things that, you know, are parts of the movie, but some of the other, like, recipes actually are, like, dishes or drinks and things that were in the movie. Like, for example, Uncle Joey's parole cake, like, this tickles me beyond anything. So, like, yeah, there's it's just a recipe for his parole cake. And there's 1955, which, by the way, has a recipe for baked Alaska, which is something I'm very curious about, and also Enchantment Under the Sea Punch, which I'm very excited for because the non-alcoholic version is like a traditional party punch that I have been like trying to remember the recipe for a long time because I loved it when I was a kid. And here it is. Then they have dishes from 2015, which are very strange, although my favorite is probably the hoverboard cookies because that's great. And then there is alternate 1985, and this one cracks me up. It's the Number One Citizen, and it sounds like the shittiest alcoholic drink ever, and that's funny because it's based off of Biff Tannen, who is like the shittiest person ever. So the back section gets all old-fashioned, and it is the 1885 section, so even like this is all older looking, and the dishes in here are really like kind of older and stuff and interesting. Like this one I'm kind of fascinated by. It's called Clara's Red Bean Pie, and it's like a sweet pie. It's almost like a pumpkin pie, but you use red beans instead, which I'm curious. I'm very curious about this. So yeah, this is like, I don't know, I'm probably showing myself as more of a fucking nerd for getting this, but I am delighted. I am just absolutely delighted by this, so yeah. Okay, this is my stack that I got on that Barnes & Noble trip. So we'll go to Future Gen now, who's going to talk about the books that I ended up ordering online because life. Hey guys, it is Jen of the future. So, I basically just got home from work, but I also just got the last of a couple, well, the last for now of a couple of books that I recently ordered as well, and I wanted to include it in this video. I just got a new job. I literally just got home from it, so that's why I didn't set up and you have a different background than you normally see, because I'm too lazy to set the tripod up right now. But I got a new job, so I'm on computers a lot more, and in the interest of not making myself get eye strain, originally I was going to read the other 3 books for Feb Regency on Guggenheim on my laptop, but eye strain. So I sucked it up and I bought them off of Amazon. I know, but they were the ones who could get it to me the quickest. So the Regency era books are, well, first up there's The Rivals. This is by Richard Brinsley Sheridan. This is a comedy play about 2 guys who are in love with a girl, and she wants like a romantic hero. There's shenanigans, false identity, stuff like that. So far, I'm really liking it. Sorry, my voice feels like it's going. But yeah, I'm really liking it. I have a lot of notes that I'm writing in here, and I haven't written notes in like my books since college, so very much enjoying this. Gonna have a lot to talk about at the end of the month, I think. And I also got this obnoxiously large copy of The Female Quixote by Charlotte Lennox. This is The Adventures of Arabella. Now you may look at this, guys, right, and think, oh, you know, idiot me, I accidentally got, like, you know, the large script version. No, my friends. It's still tiny writing. It's just, like I said, obnoxiously large. Like, I did not realize that this was this size that this was when I ordered it. So this is going to be fun to store later. So yeah, it's The Adventures of Arabella. It's basically a female version of Don Quixote in a sense, so that's fun. Also, it's supposed to be satire. And then this just came today, which prompted me to film this clip. And it is Evelina by Fanny Burney. And this is basically a coming of age story of a girl named Evelina. It's supposed to be like satire, something like that. I've heard it, I think, in a couple of videos compared to Northanger Abbey in a sense. So, full disclosure, I did try to listen to the audiobook of it because I managed to find the audiobook before I went looking for physical copies, and I fell asleep twice. So, I got the physical one now. So, yeah, that's the books that I bought. I do have a couple of manga that I also purchased, but in all honesty, that's not going to come until weeks from now, so I'll save that for a future book haul video. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Bye.